So this album is important to me because it came during a point of my musical journey where I felt like everything that I've worked really hard for kind of happened, and I feel so lucky to be able to say that. But I've done so much work as a solo artist and someone that's kind of had this lone wolf approach where I'd grab a guitar and I would gig all through New England and do bars and open mics and all sorts of different gigs for so long. And what was kind of interesting, that by the time we started making this album, I was definitely a little bored with the solo approach. And being able to make music with friends in the same room and hang out with them and have this really organic feeling was such a refreshing thing for me, and it inspired me to write songs geared specifically for a band or specifically for this group. I feel like so many great memories so far have transpired because of this. So it's really just, whenever I think about this project and look at this project, it brings a lot of good feelings and it brings a lot of good memories, and even before its release. So recording at Dirt Floor has been such an amazing experience and certainly an adventure in its own right. The first session that we booked down there over the course of 3 days turned out to be one of the biggest heat waves, or the biggest heat wave of the year. It must have been 100 degrees, and when you're in a recording studio with all of the gear on, it only makes it hotter. And of course, you can't really run air conditioning or AC units because it's loud and the microphones pick it up. And so I had the idea, well, I'll bring the RV down, but the RV, the power had issues, so I couldn't sleep in the RV with the air conditioning on. So it was 5 dudes and our friend Lindsay, who did a lot of the videos that you're gonna see in this thing here, that went down and spent a few nights down here, and it was so hot. It was just guys sleeping on the floor because we didn't have the RV anymore, so there was no place to sleep in there. There's a couple bedrooms at Dirt Floor, and you'd be middle of a session and the heat was just too much on the equipment, so we'd have to shut it down for a little while. But it made it really special. It was something that we're always gonna remember, and Eric and G down at Dirt Floor and all the guys just have such a positive attitude. Everyone just rolled with everything. And this was an environment with the wrong people, it could have gotten real nasty and everyone could have been real grumpy the whole time. But everyone had such a good and positive attitude, and we loved the music that was coming out. And we just had a spectacular time down there. And then over the course from that first big session, I've been going back a bunch of different times to do a couple little overdub stuff and work on the mixes, and a couple times we flew a couple different tracks in from other studios or my studio up in Scituate to kind of add to these songs. But we didn't want to stray far from the idea that these are live recordings. Then we booked another big session that was either in, I believe, late fall, early winter, and we went down and spent another couple days there collectively as a group, and this time we were able to have Steve with us. And that was a similar type of thing, minus the heat. Everyone just having a wonderful time together, playing music, breaking bread, hanging out. It's just, for us going down there, even though it's a few hours away, it's well worth the trip for us. Everything just flowed, and we like the sonic characteristics that come out of this place. So recording at Dirt Floor has just been a joy, and it's been a big part of this record because, you know, obviously Eric and G, who have injected the sound of their space into what we're doing. But what's kind of interesting is Eric, who's such a great producer, there's one song on this album that he did all of the background tracks for, because I felt this is one of the reasons, or one of the big reasons why people hire Eric, and we didn't get to use him in that regard. So I felt like I was cheating myself if I didn't give Eric the complete creative control on a song called These Times. So again, just really fun time recording down in Connecticut with these guys, and the band's been having fun, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey.
Yeah, these days they've been looking all the same. Yeah, these days